In Michigan, radical left Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer is handing out $500 a month in cash to anyone who accepts illegal aliens into your homes. Isn't that nice? She's calling this scam the newcomer rental subsidy. In other words, she's calling illegal immigrants, many coming from jails, many coming from mental institutions, many are terrorists. She's calling them newcomers. Isn't that wonderful? And it's all funded by federal taxpayer dollars distributed by crooked Joe Biden. He's the most crooked president we've ever had, and he's by far the worst president we've ever had. In other words, Biden and Whitmer are selecting and stealing your money to give free housing to illegal alien migrants and then asking you to quarter these foreign armies, and that's what they are, they're armies. They're coming in at levels that we've never seen ever in our country before. But quarter these foreign armies in the spare bedroom that you happen to have next to your children. I don't know, somehow it doesn't sound like a very good idea, considering many of these people came from prisons and jails. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums. Many are terrorists that are coming into our country totally unchecked and totally unvetted. Doesn't sound like a good idea to have them next to your children, but that's Biden for you. Biden, Whitmer, and the radical left Democrats care more about illegal aliens than about American citizens or our military, our vets. They care much more about illegal aliens. Thanks to their inflation disaster, you can't afford to buy a house. You can't afford the increase in rent, yet they're taking your money and giving it to so-called newcomers. It's such a nice name, who illegally charged across our border. They came in illegally into our country. They're called newcomers. They're not called illegal immigrants. They're not called illegal aliens. This is a scandal, and this is a disgusting insult to hardworking American taxpayers. I will end it on day one. And when I take the oath of office, America is going to be strong, powerful, and rich again. When I'm president, instead of asking you to cram illegal aliens into your homes, I'll tell the illegal aliens that they must not come into our country. They have to go back to their homes in their countries. One way or another, we will send them back to their own countries. We will have the largest and most efficient deportation effort in the history of our country, bigger than that of Dwight Eisenhower, our president from a long time ago. Thank you very much. You know, the Democrats are reeling when they have no response to my recent statement on abortion other than, oh, he's only kidding, or he will change it, or he's not going to do that, he'll do something else. Because he knows and they know that when they say that, they're in trouble. I guess this means that we will win the election because they're so bad on every other issue. They are so bad on the border, on the economy, on energy, everything. We were energy independent just 4 years ago. And now look what happened, and look what happened to our country. Millions of people flowing in from prisons, from jails. It's really a terrible thing. So the only issue they have, the only issue they think they have is on abortion. And now all I say is the states are handling it, and it's totally killed that issue. We'll take care of everything. We're going to make our country great again. Everybody's going to be happy. People forget, fighting Roe v. Wade was right from the beginning all about bringing the issue back to the states, pursuant to the 10th Amendment and states' rights. It wasn't about anything else. That's what it was. We brought it back to the states, and now lots of things are happening, and lots of good things are happening. Every legal scholar, everybody from both sides said, you have to get it out of the federal government. You have to bring it back to the states. It wasn't about anything else. After we won, Marjorie Dannenfelser of the SBA and Lindsey Graham, senator, started saying, no, let's go back to the federal government with 0 weeks. And when they got nowhere, they upped it to 6 weeks, and they got nowhere again, and they recently upped it to 15 weeks, and were obviously willing to take the number upward, because they were getting absolutely nowhere with the Democrats, and they never would, because the Democrats will never give up on this issue, no matter how many Republicans want and ask and are willing to give everything. You could give unlimited abortion, and the Democrats would find a reason not to do it because they don't love our country. They don't want to solve a very difficult problem. But we did. It's called states' rights, and the states are working feverishly to get it all resolved. 53 years it went And we did something that nobody thought. We brought it back to the states where it belongs and where everyone wanted it. The states will be making the decision. Republicans are now free to run for office based on the horrible border, inflation, bad economy, the death and destruction of our country. We have the worst president in history, and we're going to have the best president in history. And that president's going to do a great job for you, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you very much. The Supreme Court will address the historic question of presidential immunity. Without presidential immunity, the president cannot function, as his political opponents will blackmail and extort him with the threat of wrongful persecution at every turn, including when he leaves office. They're going to say, you don't give us this, whether it's for taxes or military or anything, we're going to go get you because we're allowed to now because you wouldn't have immunity. We're going to get you after you leave office. It literally would be blackmail. We look forward to presenting our case in the Supreme Court. It's going to be one of the most important cases because without presidential immunity, you have nothing. You don't have a president. You have just a ceremonial position, and we can't have that. A president has to be strong, has to be powerful, has to make good decisions. But if you don't have presidential immunity, if you don't have a strong form of immunity, you're not going to have anything. You're not going to have a president that can function. It's not going to work. It would never work. Everybody assumes that a president has immunity. A president has to have immunity, or he cannot or she cannot function. The president doesn't have immunity. He or she will be nothing more than a ceremonial president, rarely having the courage to do what has to be done for our country and to make our country great again. This is not what the founders had in mind at all. This is not what they wanted to think about. This is not where they wanted us to be. The founders wanted the president to have immunity so the president can feel free to make decisions. Hopefully, there'll be great decisions, but whether they are or not, a president of the United States has to have immunity. Thank you. You better off than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. Once great country is now a nation in decline. Vote for Donald J. Trump. We're going to make America great again. Time for crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, and I to debate. We have to talk about what he's doing and where we're going. We owe it to our country. We owe it to all Americans. Anytime, anywhere, anyplace. Like the Democrats who are killing Social Security and Medicare by allowing the invasion of migrants into our country. It's an absolute, like a military invasion. I will not, under any circumstances, allow either of these two precious gems to be even touched under a Trump administration. You will always have your Social Security in full as you have it now, and you will always have your Medicare. Biden cannot say that because Biden is killing them both with the invasion of migrants and while at the same time destroying our country in every other way. MAGA 2024. It's just out that crooked Joe Biden, the worst and most corrupt president in the history of the United States by far, is leading the weaponization of government against his political opponent, me. Crooked Joe is a threat to democracy. We cannot let him continue in office. All of this weaponization and lawfare that you're watching, all of these lawsuits against me, they're all started by the DOJ, the FBI, all of the people in government, even the state cases and the city cases. They're being run by the DOJ. They put their people in there, and they're being run by the DOJ. We have to stop weaponization. There's never been anything like it in the history of our country. It's happened before, but only in third world countries. And we're becoming a third world country between our borders and all of the other things that are so bad, so bad. But we have to stop the weaponization, and we have to stop it now. The best way to stop it is November 5th. We're going to beat them like a drum. Thank you very much. 4 years ago, we had the strongest and safest border in U.S. history. Now we have the worst border anywhere in the world, ever. There's never been a border like this. Our borders have completely collapsed, and many criminals are pouring into our country. We have them coming in from jails and prisons. We have them coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. We're not going to allow it. We have to win. November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. Make America great again, 2024. Thank you. At what point are the actions of a sitting president using lawfare and weaponization against his opponent for purposes of election interference considered illegal? I believe, as do various highly respected legal scholars, that crooked Joe Biden has long since crossed over that very sacred threshold. He is a criminal. He is a horrible president. He's the worst president in the history of our country. And the only way he thinks he can get elected is to take me to trials, take me to courts, city, state, and federal. They control them all. All of these cases that you're reading about are crooked Joe Biden's case because he can't put two sentences together. He can't do anything. So they weaponize government and they take me to court on bullshit. So we are going to win. We're going to win big. We're going to go through these horrible Biden trials. And at the end of the day, November 5th, everyone's coming out to vote for Trump. Thank you very much.